Good morning. Making sure everything's set up everywhere. There we go. Is it connecting? We got to go live over here. Okay, guys. So today we are going to do my sound's on today. First of all, yay me. just roll with it. It's okay. So today we're going to do a gnome. I don't think I've done a gnome for a while. I've done villages, done the butterfly. I'm just trying to think back when the last time I did a gnome, but I don't think I've done a gnome for a while. So today we're going to do a gnome. We're going to do the So Happy Gnome Shelf Sitter. Say that like 10 times fast. It just does not come out of my mouth. But I figured this is going to be a super quick paint because I want to keep it short for you guys and let's make sure that all my stuff's working this time. Because, it is what it is. It's just roll with it. Play along with me. If you're new, hi, my name is Katie from Huckleberry Gems, and we paint wood kits and do mixed media. Tuesday, when half of my live was silent, we painted a signpost kit, and that one actually I did with some jelly prints and some collage in the background. So that one was super fun. I really enjoyed that. So I'll do some more of that. I thought about using the jelly print directly on her today, but I decided not to because I already had enough of a snafu on Tuesday with y'all. So if I had another one today, I would have been rolling around for the whole week. It would have been amazing. So I'm going to find my spacer. So, cause that one gets set aside. Okay. We'll get her all sorted. I'm going to put her together just to take her apart for you guys. Cause again, just because I can, that's just because I can. Let's see. We'll get a little pin cushion on there. Her little feet go here. And I just put her stand together. So when I do the gnomes, the stand, some of them are, you have to pay attention to them. Some of them, the slot is more up front and backwards. So when you put them together, make sure you're doing it right and you get your slot right. Otherwise, it's a bummer to have to try to peel the stands apart. That's not a fun one. So let's see, I'm putting her together just so you can kind of see how she goes. And then the spacer goes right there before we actually start painting her. You kind of lay the top of her on the top of her, or the bottom of her berets right there. And the spacer goes in the middle. And then the little pin cushions right there. So also, when you're doing the gnomes or anything that has a tab in the bottom here, make sure that you're leaving space for the tab to go into the slot. That's important. Otherwise, they won't sit in the stand. All right, so now she's all put together. We get to pull her all apart. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 colors. 3, 6, 10. I don't know. I can't count. Just roll with it. But we're going to start. The most of her body is sky blue. Then we have, excuse me, snow titanium white, deco art, Christmas red, steel gray, roasted pecan, cascade, black, sunflower, cool bisque, and clover truffle are the colors on the label here. And I usually tend to go with the label colors. And then, of course, I have my pink pokey. I have magic erasers. Make sure they're the smooth kind, not the rough kind that people, I think they're advertised as like the bathroom scrubbers or whatever, but these ones are the smooth ones. So make sure when you're using them, they are the smooth ones or they won't paint up like with the texture on them. And then I do have some makeup wedges because I was thinking about showing you guys floating with the makeup wedges instead of a brush today. So we'll go with that. But let's go ahead now and take her all apart and sort. I just sort the colors in front of the bottles so that we keep them all nice and sorted. And then, let's see. My alarm just went off, but I don't know what I set alarms for everything, right? That's just the way I roll. And it just went off for something. I don't know what it was for. So set alarms. Remember what they're for. Okay. Let's start by color. We'll get her braids over here, the scissors. This one, we've got 2 different colors. So we'll just sort it in front of the steel gray. The spacer does not need to be painted, so you can set that aside. Just don't forget where you put it because you still need to put it back on. And then let's see, black, red. She's striped, so we'll start with white. Okay, so we'll put him over there. So we've got stripes on the hat, and I'll start with white because we're going over it with a lighter color. And so it brightens it up. So we'll pull all the white over here. And if you're in a position to where you can click the link if you want in the caption above me, and then you'll join my jam session on Spotify and you'll hear what I'm listening to. And the playlist is actually right above my head, so you can see what song is playing if you can't listen with me live, which is totally fine. It's just how I work. I like to listen to music when I work. It helps me get into my flow. We all have our little things. I have a friend who works super silent, and I'm like, I could never. That would drive me crazy. Maybe it's because I have all the kids. I'm used to all the noise all around, right? 5 kids, the house is never quiet. Even with only 2 of them still at home. Now it's the grandkids that come and make it super loud. And I haven't talked to my daughter-in-law in a couple weeks because I spent time away from home and business meetings and masterminds and all that fun stuff. And so I saw her mom just last night. And so the new baby, grandbaby number 7 is due any day now. I bet it'll probably be this weekend because that's just the way the world works. And the husband and I are going away to the mountains for our anniversary. And so, of course, the baby will be born this weekend when we're not in town. So my poor daughter will be in charge of watching all the kids while she's in the hospital. But hopefully next week, we'll have our newest little guy to hang out with and snuggle. And okay, those are all our whites. We can do base coats on the skin tone because it's a light. Otherwise, you do a couple coats either way. But if you want to brighten it up, go ahead and base coat the nose and the hands. And then the cool bisque is the color that I use for skin tone. We'll lay down a little bit brighter. So we'll just set those back over here. And then we'll jump into the sky blue. Put that over there. So yesterday, the husband went with the kiddos, the older one, because our 15-year-old works in the shop with all the boys, which means he also gets paid for it. So he's been on the hunt for all kinds of car parts. And they found a truck. Basically, it's just the cab and the frame out in La Grande, which is like 170 miles away. So they spent all day yesterday driving out there to get this truck. And it is pretty. I'll take a picture of it and show you guys. But my son, Gage, he's like, I'm not keeping it that color. I'm like, but it's a teal and it's so pretty. And all the girls would want to ride with you if you kept it that color. Nope, didn't work. So he's going to paint it. But it is such a pretty color and I so love it. But that's all he was talking about yesterday. He's telling me all about his new truck, even though it's just a shell. I'm like, this kid, he loves his cars just like his dad. But I'm telling you. And so now he's all excited. Now I'm hearing about how he's going to make it a manual. So now he's going to, instead of his automatic, because he has an automatic right now. So this one, he's going to turn into a manual. I'm like, oh, if you do a manual, then I'm going to drive it because I just love driving manuals. It's fun. It takes me back to my childhood. Okay, we're going to do the stripes. Let me find. this one, that's perfect. Okay. Dip it in the water, get it nice and wet. I like my angle brushes. And then for me, I just kind of tap in there to remember which stripes are going to be which color. So I'll just tap in there and then I don't have to remember while I'm painting. Trying to work fast because lately it's been drying. It's hot outside, so my paint's been drying even faster than normal. You see all the paint boogers in this sky blue. Okay, and her feet. Okay, so I just did. Now this, I get a lot of questions about what this one is. And when I color on the label, when I color their feet black, it goes away and you can't really tell that there's this extra strip, but it helps the balance when she's in, or either him or her are in the stand. It helps their balance. So that's what that strip is there for. I have the cascade because it cascade on the label. So we'll just pop that in there really quick. Don't need much, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit. And I'm just going to use the same sponge that I had in my sky blue on the cascade, so it'll mix. It's fine with me. Okay, so we'll pop that over there. Let's see. I'm debating what colors. Let's go with the cascade while we have it out here. Just give it a quick swipe. And you can tell it's kind of cool when you mix the colors on the magic eraser. I'll pop it in close so you guys can see. It kind of gives it like a variation of the colors on there. I really like that. Let me check over here, make sure. I don't want it to go kick me off again because I didn't check the other side. It did that to me one time, so I have to flip back and forth to keep the stream going. Otherwise, it shuts me down. Okay, this is sunflower. It's just yellow because when I was a kid, when I was sewing, all of my tapes were yellow. Since we're done with the blue, hopefully we're done with the blue. Could be a liar. Maybe we're done with the blue. I don't know. But light coats so you don't get into the engraved pieces. And light pressure, the harder you push, the more you're going to get paint into those scored marks. And you're going to have to do multiple coats on it. But now you can see how clean and crisp that is. And honestly, I find it easier. I'm going to promote the magic erasers all day long versus the sponges. I really do like the sponges. I just like the way that the magic erasers base coat everything. It gives me nice, clean, crisp coats right here, like when you do the engraved pieces. So those are definitely my preferred way. It's not always perfect. Nothing is, but I prefer the magic erasers over everything else. We'll clean up that down there in a second. Let's see what else. Should we grab, let's do her hair. Let's get the hair out of the way and then I can put this bottle back in the, where is it? Okay, there it is. I was looking to see what color. I did black on the thread, but I've got brown there too. Well, pay attention to when I'm pouring it out. That was a whole bunch of brown. Whoops. So we'll pull this over here too, because That is brown. And then we can come in here and make, I'm not sure if I want to, well, I'll go back and forth. We'll think about that. But on the, and I don't know if it's because I'm just looking here, if it's just because of the way that was colored, why the thread is black. Why did I do that? I don't know. It is what it is. Okay. We'll just go and get the steel gray done really quick. That's all the tools. Use the back side of this eraser. Oh, my paint's really globby today. And go down far enough to where when you put the pincushion on, you won't have an edge here showing. And the same thing, these are engraved right here, so light coats, light hand. And I'm not worried about painting over her hand over here because we're going to put a piece over the top of it. So that doesn't matter if you color outside the lines. Totally fine. Let's pull the black over. Whoop. I just went all over here. It's okay. It is okay. Where's my pink? There it is. This is how you can use masking tape to hold your small pieces down. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. And mostly it's because of the sticky back, the adhesive that I have on the back. This is really slick. And so when I use the masking tape, the smaller pieces tend to pop up easier. I was going to do the green, but we're going to do her hands and nose really quick. I just stuck my hand in paint. Hold on. Always have the wipes handy. Okay. We don't have any more brown, right? I can slice the brown. Well, I can slice the black. Let's slice that off. That one doesn't want to pick up the paint right now. Hi, Rosie. Okay, we'll let that dry. Let's do the green really quick. And then our pin cushion. Let's grab a new one. Is this a smaller one? And now the red. Okay, now we'll set them all aside and we'll clean up the bottom of her skirt here. Grab my brush. I'm just going to dip the toe into the blue. And if you don't feel like you have a steady hand, you can tape it off. You just use the masking tape. Although, or on this one, I'd probably just use a marker simply because it's a wiggly line, and using the masking tape on that would not be fun for me to try to get that perfect. Okay, let's grab so it's terracotta. And I swear every time I pull this one out, I'm like, I need to go get a new one. And this one, I'm going to use the sponge. This is the sponge that you guys get with your kits. It's just a makeup wedge. And I'm going to double load is what they would say if you're using a brush. So both sides. And then I'm going to blend it on my palette over here so it's nice and blended. And then I'm going to make sure this side is down because I want this side to be the top side to have the float. This is the not cheater way, but it's the resourceful way if you're not confident with the brush yet. And then just kind of tap it and give her her shadow. And if it's too dark for you, you can always come up and lighten it up with the bottom. You do that with the hands. And it's just a super light, I'm not pressing really, really hard. It's just a tap, 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 just a light tap. If I want more in instead of on the edge, make sure when you go reload, you're doing the correct sides, because I've done that before. And then I just blended the whole brush with all, or the sponge with all the paint. But if you want more in, then just come in with a heavier hand and pull it in more. That's too dark for me. And see what I did there? Whoopsie. Just pretend she's got paint on her hands like I do. That's how we roll. It's how I am. But like I said, if you're not confident with the brush, this is the easy way to add the little details. Now we'll clean her hand up. And then if you have a marker, you can add I don't know if this one's going to work or not. The little swish. Nope, that one's not going to work. That was probably one the grandkids got hold of. Let's see if that one might work. Nope. I need new white ones. So instead, I'll just grab a liner. Actually, that one's a filbert, but we'll pretend it's a liner. And then just give it a swish. Right there. I think we got everything. Super quick paint. So now we'll go back and I dry fit to make sure that everything is covered. Don't forget your spacer. And then that way we can get placement and make sure we got all the pieces right. See, like that stem. We'll pull that off so I can redo it. We're going to pull her hands down a little bit. And we'll get the stem. And there we go. Now we'll just peel all the backing because most of my kits, like probably 99% of my kits, do not need glue. There are some that I'm like, shoot, I know you guys will love it, but there's no way that I can make it with the sticky back on it. So there's some, very little. And when I do use glue, I use the Dollar Tree wood glue. I hate super glue. I hate super glue. That's why I chose to put adhesive backs on all of my kits that I could, minus the stands. The stands, obviously, you have to have glue on the stands. Well, we didn't do the thread. That's okay. Can come in with a marker and color that. Okay. Let's get her set down. I'm going to turn her around to make sure. I use my fingers to feel the edge for the most part to kind of make sure it's even and level and not crooked. And that one, I pulled the whole thing. But if you have pieces that are exposed, like I think on some of the villages, you can just come before you peel, just slice off the back and then it'll peel without exposing. Like I'm going to show you really quick. So I would slice right here and see how it's won't expose that because the cover for the adhesive is still on there. Me, I just will start tapping on the back until it's not sticky anymore. But I know most of us will have pets in the house where we display our stuff. So if you don't want pet hair all over the back of your things, then that's how I would solve that problem. Just come and make sure, like for me, I'm just going to sit here and tap on this until they're not sticky anymore. But if you don't, you can. And if you forget, you can always stick back on like so. And then that way the sticky is not exposed and pet hair won't get or dust bunnies won't get all over the back of your pieces. But that, my friends, is our So Happy Gnome. Whoop, put her in backwards. There she is, all ready to go. The gnomes are super quick. I love painting the gnomes because of how fast they are. And I think they're great for beginners, especially if you're brand new to painting the solid pieces and you want to learn a little bit more detail on how to incorporate the shading and the splatter and all that kind of stuff. I personally gravitate towards the gnomes for that. If you want more intricate and more detailed work, the villages are really good for that. There's a ton of tiny pieces with the villages, but they're still super fun to paint. So those are, and the trains. The trains are amazing too. And you guys tell me that all the time. You love the villages and the trains. So, but if you're a beginner and the painting intimidates you, I would start with one of the larger gnomes. And they're really simple and really quick and really fun to paint. But there you go. So there's our little So Happy Gnome. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all Tuesday.